Okay, the regular gelatin that we use is pork. Okay, if you look at it, it says pork on it, right? Fish gelatin is becoming more and more popular in pastry making because of religious beliefs, right? The only problem, it's about 3 times more expensive. So what we pay about a kilo now, we're close to $70 a kilo. So this is over $200 a kilo. Much more convenient to use because it's in a powder form. Okay. So this is what I'm making here. So when I rehydrate my gelatin, when I make my gelatin mass, I always making sure it's 200 bloom strength, same as the gold one. I always do 6 times the weight of the gelatin in water. So here I have 400 grams of gelatin powder, and I use 2.4 kilos of water. We'll talk about it in theory. Okay? And all I do is I warm it up. So I let it soak, see how it's getting gooey here, and then I'm going to warm it up until it's perfectly clear. Right? I will skim the foam off, and I will put it in a hotel pan to let it set till tomorrow. Tomorrow morning I will dice it up in small cubes, and then it's ready for us to use. Okay? So again, gelatin mass usually 7 days in the cooler. Don't go too long. You can tell if it's starting to go off. It will be slimy, and the smell won't be very pleasant. Okay? Usually about a week, not a problem. Okay? How can we help you, Chef? They're frozen hard. Don't leave it in there too long, just so they pop right out. Sponge is ready. Anglaise is ready. Whipping cream is ready. And the inserts are ready. This I would like to wash them ourselves, okay, by hand. If we put this in the dishwasher, they end up flying everywhere. So we'll wash them by hand, dry them out, and we'll collect them. Sponge, I use a 6 centimeter ring, okay? Slightly smaller, okay? I've cut my sponge already. And now it's time for finalizing the burger. So you see here, it's starting to set a little bit on the edges. Looks like oatmeal. Okay? It's a bit too cold. I'm gonna warm it up a little bit. Again, between 19, 21, you can go as low as 18, no problem. Okay? The cream for mousses, you never want to have a really stiff cream for mousses. All around the cream. Because it makes it more difficult to incorporate. The more you work it, the more it could deflate, and the more it could split on you. Okay? Yeah, still quite cold. So when it's time to assemble, if your Bavarian cream is a little bit too warm, just use a bit of a cold water bath. There we go. Alright. See, starting to this afternoon when you guys are gone, I will make the pineapple jam, which is the recipe in there. It's just a puppet. So I always add my cream in stages, never all at once. I always add a little bit of cream to the base to loosen up the base. There's going to be a bit more Bavarian cream. We'll get a little bit of extra because it's kind of hard to make much smaller batches. And you're going to have a little bit of sponge scraps. If you want to put sponge scraps left over Bavarian cream and a little deli, that could be your snack this afternoon. So the Bavarian cream is made. Your molds are all there, please. Again, 6 per person. We're doing good for time. Careful with gelatine, you don't want to overdo it, overheat it. The gelatine normally is this fish or beef, it's pretty much flavor. However, if you overheat it like crazy, then you're going to start developing a little bit of flavor, which may not be exactly what you want. So why is fish gelatine more expensive than pork gelatine?
Because the fish bones is harder to process.
What is the most consumed protein in the world?
Pork.
Voilà. You get much more collagen from pork than you do from fish.
So which one is better?
They're the same. They're the same
So why do we want to spend 3 times more on fish gelatin?
because of religious beliefs. A lot of people can't have pork.
Like me?
You can't have pork.
No.
So if I had known, next week on one of the pastries we'll work just with fish gelatin. Okay, so you can accommodate.
I cannot have fish either. I'm vegetarian.
Marshmallow now.
I know. I'm going to hell.
There's different gelling agents out there that you could substitute these. The gelatin is a common one.
I know.
You can find just beef. Well, you're a vegetarian, but you can find also just beef. Okay. Now, your Bavarian cream or mousse should always be a little bit fluid, huh? Never like set. Never.
So what happens if I over whip my cream?
Good question. What are you gonna do?
Hopefully not start from scratch.
Okay, so we need to talk about that. That's a good question. So you're whipping your cream. Jose is distracting you, and your cream is way too stiff. What are you gonna do? It's almost $5 a liter. What are you gonna do with that? Now, if it's not grainy, it's too stiff but not grainy, add liquid cream to it. Mix it on lower speed. It's going to soften up everything. Okay? And of course, after that, you're going to have to scale it again. Because you've added cream to it, right? Or if it's gone to the point that it's grainy. Oh, thank you. Okay, add liquid cream to it.
So it can be rescued.
Yeah. If it's gone to the point that it's very borderline, and I like that. Actually, it's fantastic. Thank you. If it's gone to the point that it's grainy, you taste it and you can feel the fat molecule there. There's nothing you can do about it. The only thing you're going to do about it, keep it running on lower speed. And you're going to make
Butter.
butter. You make that butter, take it, rinse it in really ice cold water, squeeze it, after the chinois cheese gone overnight to drain, now you have made fresh butter. The only problem with that butter, it's very high in moisture. So you definitely wouldn't use this for lamination. But you could use it in buttercream, you could use it wherever you want.
Bread and butter.
Yeah, don't waste that, right? At $5 a kilo, can't afford to be wasting that. Thank you, I really like that. It's nice sometimes when a little bit of the mishap happens like this because we can talk about it and we have live proof experience. Okay, so I'm gonna need a spoon here, piping bag. Cut it here. Again, don't lose that. Okay. A little bit of Bavarian cream. We're about halfway up or so. Okay. And with the back of my spoon, I'm going to go and bring some of that Bavarian cream, could be mousse, to the sides of my molds, just to make sure I have no air pockets. Okay. 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 I'll take my gilets. It's nothing new, you've done that already. And as soon as you add a frozen component, you will start setting your mousse or your Bavarian cream much quicker. Right? Center it. And the one thing that you want to make sure, it's not on an angle like this, right? For an individual pastry, it's not a big deal, but for a cake, a whole cake, when you cut a section of the cake, if you see the layers are like this and like this, it shows poor assembly. Okay, so it's kind of a little detail that we look for. I'm gonna put a little bit more here on top to seal. Okay. Coconut side down. So see, I'm going to need a little bit more. So basically what I want to have is everything leveled with the edge of the mold. So I need a little bit more. Press it down. Okay. Can I have, oh, shoot. When you grab your sponge here, when I cut portions out of the sponge, I never cut on the paper. Okay? Why? I always like to, have I always like to peel the paper before I cut. Because if you cut like so, sometimes the sponge sticks to the paper and you're like this, right? But what I like to do, peel my paper off, then I can cut my sponge and it won't stick. Okay, so let's say in production, a bit too thin. You're in production and you, let me give you an example here. Yeah. Okay. Okay, you have this here. Are you gonna waste this?
No.
No, you never. Put him up. Bring it together. Then you have,
One more.
don't waste it. Huh? Now this is what I meant with your extra pieces. So you're gonna have scrap pieces, put them together, little, down to your snack. Okay, so this is pretty nicely leveled. You can always so whose sponge that is, I am not sure, but we definitely can use that. What I can do is immerse in it, okay? In the freezer, okay? What you can do is just put a saran wrap on top. I'm gonna refill this one here, okay? Put the saran wrap on top, label it in the freezer. And that will be it for today. So we have about an hour to complete that, okay? Go ahead, please.
Thank you, Chef.